Do you want to give a little spiel about HABA when you introduce yourself, T?
I mean, we're live right now, so that could be just like right now. It could be that. Hello, everybody. We're like give it a second for people to join in, trickle in. Social media links
Yeah.
to the world that we're live. Is this the first stream of NunPub?
I should. This is the first stream of NunPub, and I actually have to mute the Twitch feed on my computer because I'm hearing it.
No, that's fine. So this is the first. This is apparently the first stream of NunPub. It's the kickoff stream. And I mean, I feel like we're starting it with the right attitude. So hello, everyone. Welcome
It's
to
NunPub.
NunPub. I just have to like, and it's so close enough. Hello, Dickie Adams from the Triverse team. I love it. Yeah. So NunPub Winter 2021. It's a weekend of playtesting and game design panels and conversations and talks and sharing different skill sets and ideas and things like that. And we're also doing a game design jam. And HABA is sponsoring it, which is why I'm here. Because I am the games channel manager for HABA USA. And so we were super excited to be approached by NunPub to do some sort of game jam thing. And so we're really excited for everybody that showed up. NunPub. No knee pub? I have no idea.
NunPub.
NunPub?
Like Origins and Gen Can't and all that stuff, NunPub was just a joke. It was just a joke name. It became a real thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good real thing. I like the orange noodle.
That's Mac, because some of the first drawings looked like a piece of macaroni and cheese.
That makes sense. No, I get it. I remember the pool noodle from Unpub. So yeah. But hello, everybody. Thank you for joining. We're just kind of like.
And so those were blue and red. And so I just went across the color wheel to orange and green when I went to the artist to get the design.
Yeah, that works. So hello, everybody trickling in to Twitch. Welcome. I am T. Kairos from HABA USA. We have Dave Chalker to my. Whoop, there we go.
Distraction.
Right there you go. And then we also have Benjamin way over there. So, yeah. But yeah, welcome to the kickoff for the Game Design Jam. Also, apparently the kickoff for NunPub. Because that's what we are. We're kicking it all off. I'm actually real excited for this weekend. I'm excited for the Game Jam. I'm excited to see what everybody comes up with these kits. I'm a little bummed I didn't get a kit. I'm going to be honest. I should have asked for one. That's entirely on me. But I will.
You don't have bits just laying around your house?
I do have bits, but I don't have those bits.
Like, free bits.
Yeah, I mean, I have the. We did for Essen Spiel, we did a game jam where we sent celebrities a box of like HABA stuff, and I actually have that kit right over there. So I could design a game using that kit, but yeah, so let's talk more about those kits, I think, where we're in there. So we do have some people I see in the chat that are participating in the game jam. So they already know what the game jam is about. But I don't know if, Benjamin, if you want to talk a little bit about what the Game Jam is exactly and like the idea and what the teams are going to be doing.
Yep. So the idea behind the Game Jam here is that, HABA has in the past done game design contests where you have mailed out bits to people. They paid to have those bits mailed out to them. They use those bits that were provided amongst some other things to send a game back as a submission. And there's judging and a process that you have for that. We thought it would be cool to bring that into the Unpub format. And we talked about doing it at the live show, but live shows don't happen. So this was the next best thing. We started having discussions, late winter, late fall, early winter, about how we could facilitate it. And we thought it would be cool to have teams of people use Discord, just like we're using for playtesting, Tabletop Simulator for playtesting, to get some of those bits in the mail. Get a set of rules or some sort of structure, which Dave is going to help us figure out while we're here. And then with that structure, we would set up those Discord channels, and those are in the non-pub Discord. Anybody who's on these teams has roles that allow them into those channels. There's one per team that they can use in addition to whatever else they might be doing. And then come Sunday, we're actually going to have them present those games, and we have a panel of qualified judges. I have to say that I'm involved. Like I have to, I mean, so we have a panel of judges that have been involved in game jams and have done some design work. And T, you're a part of it because you're here helping to represent HABA in that regard. We want to give feedback. We want to give all the teams a chance to pitch those game ideas to us and whatever they've come up with during that time. So.
Well, and also with the game jam, I just want to really clarify, it's not a contest. There's no winners, there's no losers.
No, it is not.
Yeah, it's not a contest. It's not that kind of stuff. And when we say pitch the game, it's not because you're pitching the game to HABA. I don't want you to like freak out and be like, "What?"
Oh no, I didn't.
No. It's
I will also
like,
not publish your
run
game.
through of your game. Sorry.
Yeah, but it's a really great practice and a very low risk opportunity for you as a designer to have that experience of pitching to someone. So we wanted this event to help support the idea that anyone can design a game and anyone can pitch a game and anybody can do that. And a lot of the confidence and skill that comes that people feel they need or that you need to do that just comes from practice, and a lot of that is just starting. So we wanted to make a contest, or not a contest, a jam that was very accessible, easily approachable, and was just as much fun for people who are new to design as well as very experienced at design. So yes, we want it to be not a contest. There's no publishing contract. This is just for fun. The whole intention is to have fun.
Bragging rights. And
also like to get some experience and play weird, fun games and just have a fun event and a fun thing that we can kind of do and you can do at home or digitally with your teammates over the course of this weekend. So yeah, super excited.
Just to jump on that real quick, it's also really cool as a game designer, like the game you come up with over the weekend with these bits and random restrictions probably is not going to be the best, most polished thing in the world, but it probably will give you some cool ideas that spark something like maybe I can work on this later, maybe the small part of it, I can spin off into another thing down the road, or just, the experience by itself is kind of like doing game designer push-ups. So I always think they're a fun time.
That's a great way to put that, game designer push-ups. I like that a lot, actually. So we have some stuff that's happening throughout the entire weekend for the Design Jam. And this is, of course, the first thing. So this is where we're discussing what the jam is. We're also going to go over some like very basic ground rules for the jam. And we'll get to that in a little bit. But after this event, that's happening literally right now, we're going to have another event later this evening that's part of the jam. And that event this evening, I have to like look at my calendar. Feel free to jump in at any time. That one is non-pub jams. No, so that event later this evening is happening.
At 10 p.m. Eastern.
There we go. So 10 p.m. Eastern, that event that's going to happen is the non-pub crew is going to hang out, and we're going to just kind of, with the bits that everyone got in the kits, they're going to kind of do a quick jam, brainstorming, fun game jam. Yeah? This is the intention?
Yep, yeah, it's gonna star Danielle Reynolds. It's gonna star Ian Zhang.
Oh yeah.
Heather Neal and Jay Treat. So, and Jay Treat is a big, like he's one of those people that on the trip Origins would do like pitch tag. So I'm sure he's got a lot of practice doing weird, quick. Here's what we got to figure out. Here's what we can go with.
Very
so
cool. Yeah.
This is,
and that'll be on the Twitch, yeah.
Yeah, it'll be on this Twitch, at 10 o'clock in 2.5 hours.
Just come and make fun of them.
Cool. Yeah, so that'll be happening, and you can just come and you can see what they do. You can kind of get inspired by what they do, or you can like decide you shouldn't do things based on what they do. Like there's lots of options in that one, but it's a kind of just a fun quick jam. They have a more restricted timeline for doing the jam. They don't have a weekend. They just have like an hour, but they're professionals. So they knew about this beforehand, so that's kind of the fun of that one. So that's what's happening tonight. And then for other
Cabbage King,
events,
we don't yet know if we can't set things on fire. We're going to have to wait to see what Dave rolls.
yeah, we have it. We'll figure out the rules here in a sec. We want to go over the schedule of like what is happening for the jam throughout the weekend. So that's what's happening today. And then tomorrow we have some events. Is there some other scheduled events happening tomorrow? Different panels or talks?
There are no other game jam panels going on this weekend. There is a panel about getting started in game design that may help give people some tips and tricks, and that's going to happen. That's going to happen 10:30 on Saturday morning. So that may give people, just if they're kind of stuck on something, that may help them out with that. Sarah Shipp has a panel about crafting resonant themes that may help, and that's going to be Saturday at 3 p.m. Just different types of panels. We've got Feedback Frenzy happening on Saturday night. That's our non-pub. That's one of our late shows. It's kind of like a panel show where different designers are going to pitch to multiple publishers on camera and get feedback. That might give you practice on how to speak to the design that you've made this weekend. So they're not really part of these activities, but they can still help you in that process of the game jam throughout the weekend.
Yeah, and that was kind of part of the idea, is that we wanted to kick it off now, get you all set up with like the rules and the kits and what was happening, and then as you attend panels happening throughout the rest of the weekend, you can kind of keep your design in the back of your mind as things happen and as you learn or see other skills that you might want to practice with these designs that you're working on. So yeah. And then on Sunday, we have the feedback sessions that we talked about. So this is where it's your opportunity to sit down in a Discord room. We have some Discord rooms. Every group every team already has their assigned room and who your industry person will be that will listen to your pitches and then provide feedback. So those will be happening on Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern. And if you're curious which group you're in, if you just missed that email or whatnot, there is a, you can just ask us in the Design Jam chat. There's a whole HABA Design Jam section of the Discord that is for us. So each team has their own chat area. It's your own private little room. If you all want I'll be floating around digitally as much as I can this weekend. If you all have any questions specifically for me or want any ideas or something, feel free to tag me into those rooms. There's voice channels for you all to hang out and work together as well. And then we will have the rooms that we will do the feedback sessions in on Sunday at 9 p.m. And those will not be broadcast. Those will be private. So they will be you and your teammates, and then I think 2 other teams will be in there too. So the other teams will hear your pitches, but that's a great opportunity to hear kind of how other people do stuff and hear feedback for more than just your game, which can be valuable for experience reasons, just to like see how other people do things and what the feedback is for their games, and keep that in your mind as you move on to design bigger and better things. So yeah. Lots of stuff. Any questions about that? The schedule, that kind of stuff from the audience? Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. All right. I think we're good then. Sweet. Right. We got a sounds great. I'm gonna call it good.
Go team.
Cool. So next up on our itinerary of things to discuss was Unpub Board Jam call out. Did we already do that?
Which we already did.
Yes! I did it out of order. All right, and then we have tips and tricks. Are we talking like ollies? 360 Tokyo grabs? Like, what are we talking about?
I mean, if you can do that while designing a game, I would be very impressed.
This is true. Oh, we do have a question.
So,
will the pitches...
no, the pitch won't. The pitch can include video, but it's going to be it's going to be video in that Discord video channel. It's not going to be a pitch video that you're requested to make or anything like that. It's not like something you're going to pre-make. but there could be video involved showing off the bits and what you're doing. Some people may use Tabletop Simulator. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah. If you feel that you can describe your game with just audio, you can attempt that. That's fine. We don't have a requirement that video is required, but if you do want slightly more helpful feedback, video or some sort of visual something will help. But you don't need to make anything polished or fancy or anything like that. Yeah. So
I don't know if this actually happened, but we might actually have a template for sell sheet kind of stuff if you wanted to try and put something along those lines together if you want that practice. But again, just speaking from myself as one of the quote unquote judges, just more there to help you than to actually pass judgment and say that's great or whatever. Just decide what you want to get out of this particular session and go into it with those goals in mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I do believe I think there will be a sell sheet template posted in the Design Jam information channel at some point, either tonight or tomorrow. Yes. So people can make a sell sheet template if you want. And honestly, I would recommend doing that. It doesn't need to be super fancy. Isn't there a panel on how to make a sell sheet? There was, yeah. So, wasn't there one? So if that's a skill that you want to work on, this is a great opportunity to work on that for this jam. So, yeah.
Yeah, and it can help you hone that message when you're getting that feedback too, because it can help keep you on point in some ways, help you realize where the core of something might be and help you get rid of things that aren't necessary.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And that's another great, if you're worried about doing video or something like that, you can always just screen share your sell sheet or make it ahead of time and send it, just put it in the thing. So a sell sheet video and game design in 3 days.
We've seen people use
the video. You don't have to make a video. It's you present it with your video camera on to us. Like, yeah.
Just like we're doing now.
Yeah, so you
but with a game in front of you.
Yeah.
Just here are my cool bits, and here's what you do with them, and then you set them on fire.
Yep.
That is my game.
Yeah. I will say, please don't set the HABA items on fire. They're actually treated to not be as flammable as they should be, so you'll have to burn through the water soluble solutions before you get to the actual wood part. And the fumes are not toxic, but they're not great. So maybe don't do that.
Okay, you can take the set on fire action.
So HABA bits are not incense, is what I learned.
Yes. We're learning things every day. Just repeatedly, we need to have that message. Just no fire. You could dissolve the water-soluble sealant, first. Soap and water, aggressive. Run it through your dishwasher about 20 times. The coating will be gone. We know this because we've tested this in our lab. So there you go. Okay, then. That's the first trick / tip, actually. There you go. Okay.
Spend all weekend washing the bits, and then you won't have time for a game.
It is a fun lab. You actually, you have to you try to break and destroy the HABA products. I have been there, and they were testing the impact of hitting one of these with a hammer. Like, how many times could you hit this with a hammer before it broke? I was just like, okay. Sure.
Was that included with the bits? Is that a game now? Hit that thing with a hammer.
It's like the Tootsie Pop game. Like, you guess an over/under number, and then, yeah.
1, 2, smash.
Anyway, cool. So, any other tips and tricks that we have for people for suggestions? Or do we want to set the framework up first and then kind of maybe do tips and trips around what we know the framework to be, or the rules to be for the jam?
Sure. So we made 3 different groups of rules or framework that we're going to put around this game jam, and we're going to roll a d6 to find out what those results are going to be. We've got one that's based on themes, one that's based on requirements, and one that's based on some restrictions. And Dave is going to help us by rolling that die.
Oh, good. I was
so
like, I don't know where a die is.
Got it covered.
Oh no, Dave and I planned this out. We made sure he had. All right, Dave. Since we all have the same background and we're all in the same house, throw the dice into T's dice tray.
Do one of those like off the side to. I'm not nearly coordinated enough for that.
Right. So if Dave rolls a 1, the game must be about animals. If he rolls a 2, it must have a color in the title. If he rolls a 3, it must be about adventuring. If he rolls a 4, it must involve cold weather or cold weather gear. If he rolls a 5, it must be about food. And for cabbage, if he rolls a 6, it must include a dumpster fire.
I think maybe we should not include that one. Given the no fire rule.
No actual fire. No actual dumpster fire. It can be a metaphorical
Can
dumpster
you roll
fire.
the die for us?
Please don't roll a 6.
I didn't roll it anyway. It's a 5, so it must be about food.
Must be about food.
So the game must be about food in some way.
Yeah, so something in the theme must be about food. That's number 1.
Right.
That's the first parameter of the design.
All right, number 2 for requirements. You must use the blue die. You must use for 2. A roll of 2 is you must use the animal piece. 3 is must use multiple kinds of resources. 4, you must use something someone drew. 5, you must use something that you hide. And 6, you must use one of the types of pieces in betting. Dave, what's our requirement?
It's another 5, so must use something that you hide.
Oh.
We must use something that we hide.
And
all
that
right.
can.
And rule number 3.
There's a lot of ways to interpret that one. I'll just say.
It's true.
Absolutely. And number 3 is going to be a restriction. If we roll a 1, it's going to be no dexterity. It's going to be if he rolls a 2, you cannot roll dice. A 3, you cannot use a board. A 4, you cannot include even numbers. A 6 means you can't, or a 5 means you can't gain additional things after the first round. And a 6 means there's no restriction. It's just a null roll.
Whoop. It is a 2.
I was hoping for
So
another
you
5
cannot
on that
roll any dice that you use in your game.
Wow.
So the parameters for the game, it must be about food. It must use something that you hide. And you cannot roll dice.
Which, of course, doesn't mean you can't have dice in the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you just
you
can't
simply
actively
cannot
roll
roll
them as part of the game. So there we go. So I just put all of those restrictions in the Design Jam chat. We will add the information to the Design Jam information section. Yeah. Wow. So the theme has to be something involving food. My neighbor needs a jump, apparently. Sorry.
That's not part of the theme. It's just a fact.
That has nothing to do with food.
Yeah, I know. Let me hang on.
Yeah. So
Go.
one thing about
So Dave, how would you use dice in a game where you don't roll them?
Yeah, so the kind of simplest thing, which sometimes you get to that point, especially in these time challenges, is to just have them be a marker that, increments as it goes. But you can also use them in other resourcey ways where, if it's like some kind of trading game, the fact that it gets set on a specific number that then gets passed around, something like that. Or, if it were to involve like stacking, and I've seen a number of games like this where different numbers can only go on certain other numbers. You're not rolling them, but it is important to know, which side is which. Any number of ways you could go there. I mean, don't have to use dice at all. Can use them sort of as trackers, that kind of thing, as long as they're not easily bumped around. All kinds of different ways to go there.
No frog. You can use any of the components that you have, but you can also add any components that you might want to. The goal is to use the components that were mailed as a framework to build around. But if you notice some of the requirements, some of the restrictions said that you might need a board or some other thing, something a player drew or something somebody drew. So those would require things that we didn't have in those kits already.
Yeah.
So you can use anything beyond those components, but the goal is those components are kind of a jump start for you. Going back to T's neighbor.
Another neighbor is helping the neighbor because I said I'm live on the internet right now. So we're good.
Good neighbors.
I don't know if anybody else has had this problem, but Portland is pretty locked down where I live. There's no reason to go anywhere, etc. There's like restrictions on how much or how many people in grocery stores, etc. So we just don't go anywhere. And so a lot of people's car batteries are dying. So we've had to be jumped twice. We actually started the car yesterday and drove to drop off DVDs at the video rental store. And the car definitely struggled to start after a week and a half. And I was just like, this is our life. But yeah, anyway. So
Chris doesn't believe that there's a video rental store still.
It's a museum. It's a non-profit video museum.
That sounds very Portland.
It's a movie museum, and they have a theater that's like across town where you can go and watch 70mm classic films. They like schedule them. You can't right now, obviously. And then they have 400,000 DVDs available for rent. They also have VHSs, and they will rent you a VHS player as well. So anyway, is there any requirement?
Dave, do you have a D10 handy?
Is there any requirement to...
Can you roll a D10 to answer Stella Artois' question?
The game does not need to be geared towards children. No, not at all. You could make an 18+ game. HABA is just sponsoring the bits part of the design jam.
They just provide us with the bits and provide us with the tea.
Yes, exactly. So you can do whatever you would like. All right, what do we have?
I rolled a 7.
Okay, so you need to use at least
you
7
must
pieces.
use at least 7 of the bits that came in the kit you were mailed. Thanks, yep. Dave.
There we go. Now you know, Stella. I'm going to add that note to the Discord chat.
The different elements
Dr.
are in the Discord chat.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. To repeat, the design jam chats they're all there if you need to review all these guidelines.
So the basic overview for those just joining or missing is the game must have some sort of thematic thing around food in some way. You must use something that you hide as part of the game. There's lots of potential in that. You could hide a number, you could hide a physical piece, you could hide an identity, you could hide, you could talk about something hidden, etc. You cannot roll dice, but that doesn't mean you cannot use dice. You just cannot roll them as part of the game. And you must use at least 7 bits from the kit that was sent to you. Also, the game does not need to be a children-focused game. Not a requirement. While HABA focuses on making family-friendly games, it's not actually a strict requirement. For example, I have a game over there which you could play with your kids, but there's some offensive art in it that one of HABA's subsidiary companies made. So we realize that the family is not just families don't just include children. So yeah, but
somebody further up made a comment about stacking the dice in a tower and then throwing things at them and dealing with whatever showed, which technically isn't a roll.
That is true. Yeah, somebody else said dropping the dice. Depending on how the dice were dropped, I would say that I would argue that that's not a roll either.
Yeah.
Like if you're dropping it into a dice tower, the tower kind of is designed to roll the dice, so that one I'm like, but if it's like you're dropping it on a mat, maybe like a target thing, I don't know.
It's true. I think by and large with all of these, like, the HABA police aren't going to show up and say you didn't follow the rules, and then you'll get launched out of a wooden catapult or anything. You be prepared to explain it to whoever's giving you feedback and judging your entry, to say how you're meeting it and how you feel about those things.
Yeah, you've got to be able to justify it, because a game about food, could just have food in the title, and the game has nothing else to do with it. About food is very open to interpretation.
Yeah. You could say, well, in this game, your farmer's allocating and growing crops to provide, and then like literally the rest of the game, you never mention food at all. So abstraction is key.
So one thing I recommend on the theme level also is it can be really helpful to think about it kind of a sideways direction. One of the first game jams I ever did, the theme that we had to use was genies. And, a lot of people just like including genie pieces and whatever. But we came up with a game called Go Wish that was more of like a trick-taking kind of game around wishing for cards from other people. So it's those things that like are inspired by food, but don't necessarily have to be food itself, or, something, like if we were playing Ben's draw M&Ms out of a bowl game, that would be something that's in the spirit of food without being specific about it itself.
Yeah, that one was key lime, by the way.
M&Ms or Skittles?
Key lime M&Ms, they're new this year.
Okay, then.
They're white chocolate, so it's not even real chocolate.
Iggy Kid asks, or says, I'm video documenting my design process to post to YouTube later. Would it be inappropriate to record the feedback session? That entirely depends on who's in there, who your judge is. So you would need the permission of the judge for sure. And then anybody else in that room with you, if their audio or video is being recorded as well, you would need to give them a heads up as well. So give them the opportunity to opt out.
And that's just, I don't believe anybody would have an issue with it in this case, but you don't know until you ask.
Yeah. So
story of my life.
Make sure to ask. Yep. And honestly, it's an easy one where if somebody doesn't want to be recorded, they can mute themselves for that part. So, yep. Yeah. Let's see. When you say 7 bits, do the 6 white discs count as 1 bit type or 6 individual bits? I mean,
Dave, do you have a D2? 1 for yes, 2 for no.
Wow, we're really okay.
It's called a coin.
Even number dice. I've never done the official HABA ones before. Do you know how they usually handle it?
So in the official HABA one, it's the number of physical bits. So if you were to use the 6 white discs, that counts as using 6 bits.
Oh, hey, I rolled that answer.
Woohoo! Yeah.
Nice.
So
if the designers and the people that are involved in this are asking us these questions, I'm going to gamify it, because that's how I roll.
No, I'm doing the rolling.
Mm-hmm.
God.
All right, my Butterfinger dinner is done, so I will stop eating on camera.
A fun size regular, share size mini?
It's a regular. Whatever.
What's the production date on it? Sorry, I'm doing work. I'm being a worker now.
The production on it?
That's a
Ferrero
good.
makes those in the U.S. now. They have been for about 2 years.
It says UT certified. Oh yeah.
So this
Ferrero.
is a good question here.
Yeah.
Were all the kits identical for the jam?
As identical as we could make them, yes.
They were as identical. So everything.
I was going to say, there are some that have slight differences, but not enough to be overtly glare. So, like, instead of having, like, everybody has the same exact of, like, this colored piece, like, one kit might have more green than blue or something. But for the most part, if they could make them identical, they did. So.
And we made sure that none of those were in the potential restrictions.
Mm-hmm. Any specific player count or range of player counts? I mean, are you going to gamify this somehow? Because I have an answer that isn't a gamification.
That's one that I would leave to the designers, but as long as it's something you can effectively play test.
Yeah. I would say for that one, there is no specific player count. The range of player counts is not a thing. I would say it needs to be playable with ideally one other person, so not a solo game. But otherwise, are we just designing a game about Ben's job? Yes. Mm-hmm. That's now that's the whole thing. Yep. But yeah, no, as long as you can play it with, I would say at least 2 people. There is no upper limit, and aside from that, there is no lower. If it's soloable, that's cool, and that's great, but like, you should be able, if you can play it solo, it would be nice if you could also play it at least 2-player, I guess is how I'm saying that.
If you're playing it solo, you can co-op it, at the very least.
Yeah, then you say it's a co-op game. So, yeah. Cool. These are some great questions. I like this. I hope this is like helping you all kind of get some ideas and things like that. And again, you all have the, with your teams, you all have your own HABA Design Jam channel on the Discord. If you don't see those, let us know in the help area of the Discord channel. Help is here. And we can make sure that you get the right roles assigned so that you can see those. So it's way down at the bottom. There's a section called the HABA Design Jam. You can also use, there's a shortcut in Discord. Is it Shift H?
T, did you just say it's down in the doodly-doo?
Sorry. Yeah, probably. There's a, I forget what's the Discord like jump to secret? There's like a shortcut for jumping to channels.
I don't know.
Does anybody remember it? I don't remember. I knew years ago. By years ago, I mean like last year. But we'll figure it out. But if you scroll all the way down to the bottom of the channel list over on the side, there is the HABA Design Jam like section. If you don't have permissions to see that, you and your teammates should have permissions to see that as you're part of the jam. If you are a team in the jam, and each team has a number assigned to it, and then you should, you have that room. That's your room. Go in there, brainstorm, leave notes, pin things, whatever you want for you and your teammates. Dickie Adams has a great comment. If you don't see any channels at all in the Discord, make sure you hit the thumbs up in the Start Here channel. That's super important.
Yeah.
There is a code of conduct that you have to read before you hit the thumbs up. But, yeah.
And Game Weaver, there are no restrictions on boards or cards or tiles. The only restrictions are the ones that Dave has been rolling dice for, which are in the Game Jam channel in the Discord. He put those in for us. So those are there and ready to go.
They'll be moved to the Design Jam information, and they will be pinned there as well after this stream, probably. So, yep.
Absolutely.
Cool. Dun dun dun. The dog is barking.
That's where this hand is. This is all Heidi.
Yep, Ichi's downstairs. She can't make it up these stairs. This is my attic, if it wasn't obvious from the very low roof.
Yeah.
I thought it was my attic.
Yeah, it's our attic, apparently.
I'm down on the first floor.
Yeah, we're all in the same house that painted light blue walls. But our staircase, it's a 90-year-old house, and our staircase is like this. So, borderline ladder, definitely not to code. And the corgi cannot make it up them. Well, she can make it up them. She cannot make it down. So she does not come up here. So she is downstairs barking.
So you don't have a basket and pulley system like for a treehouse?
I actually designed one, and Steve said no. So
Did you make it out of HABA bits?
No, though I could have, hilariously enough. We do have a pulley and rope system in our outdoor toy section. So, yeah. But we were intending, when we bought this house, we were intending to make this room our, like, bedroom. Because you don't need high ceilings in a bedroom. But then we turned it into our streaming studio office thing instead. So we don't need a corgi up here for that. So there's that. But coolest. Does
I
anybody else
can't
have
keep this
any other
office door
questions?
closed because of Heidi.
Yeah. If I'm working downstairs in my office downstairs, which is not a streaming office, it's a double monitors office, I can't keep EG out. So she doesn't, if you close the door, she just headbutts it until you open it.
We don't have knobs. We have handles on all our doors, and Heidi knows that she can put her weight into it just by jumping up in the air.
Nice. My dogs are not tall enough for that, for sure.
Yeah. Awesome.
Welcome to Dog Chat. How are you all doing?
Yeah, how is everybody's dogs? Does anybody have any questions about the jam, about any of the questions, or like any pointers, idea, inspiration things?
Does anybody feel like they have zero ideas and are completely stymied?
Yeah, I think this is your chance. You have us here. What's the range of team sizes?
So there are 15 teams involved. I know there are some solo teams, and I think there are teams that have up to 5 people working on those teams.
Yeah, I think we have a couple families. Yeah, doing stuff.
Yep. Yeah, we have a couple families doing it as well.
Yeah. So I will request, while you don't have to make children-friendly games, if you are planning a not children-friendly game, please notify us so we can make sure that you are not in a presentation grouping with a team that has children. That's a, yeah, if at some point you're just designing and you realize this is an 18 plus game, maybe we should just make sure you're not presenting with a group that has some under 18. So
I would be very surprised.
Yeah, that's definitely a great call out.
Yes, I would be very surprised if that happened, but I just want to like put that out there.
Unless these kids have something very weird in them that I don't know about.
We look. But anyway, I just wanted to call out. This is a family-friendly design jam, but that doesn't necessarily mean that your game has to be family-friendly. Just keep that in mind that other teams are families. So there you go. Yeah, cool.
Shout out to solo teams.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, solo teams. We got a team. Actually,
nice.
it was the player, and they listed their dog on the form.
I like it
as the mascot. In fact.
Yeah. Yeah. So when we say teams, we just say teams because it's a little bit more inclusive for those people that are designing with roommates or children or families or we have, I think there's some teams maybe designing digitally remote. So yeah, we just want to be as inclusive as you can. I mean, heck, design a game with your cat. I'm sure the cats would love it. My cat used to love playing games with us. So I see cats get credit too.
Especially about food and hiding things.
Yeah. It's perfect.
Yeah. There you go.
Cool. And there's various open play testing as part of NumPub anyway, right? So if you are a solo team and you don't have anybody to play test with, that may be what you want to look into.
Yeah. Also, feel free to play test with other teams. Feel free to use the Design Jam chat to chat and see if other people are willing to play. You all can help. There's no reason. Teams are not silos. You all are welcome to help and talk with each other as much as you want. So yeah, we don't want to put... The whole goal of this game is, aside from the restrictions that we rolled on the dice, we don't want to try and restrict people. So yeah, just your pitches will be, I believe it's under 5 minutes. Is it a 3-minute pitch or a 5-minute pitch?
It's like 3 to 5 minutes.
Yeah, so you can't, you will be limited to 3 to 5 minutes to actually present your game. So if it takes 7 hours to play your game, but 3 minutes to pitch it, that's fine. Just with 7 hours to play, your playtests are you're only gonna get 1 or 2 playtests in this weekend, I think. So, but
At the end, the goal is to say I did a cool thing and I had fun.
yeah.
That's the ultimate goal for all of this. It's not anything beyond that is gravy. It's frosting. It's it's whatever you dip your fries in. But if without the cool thing, without the experience of doing the cool thing, the rest just gives you a heart attack and diabetes.
Yep.
And rotten teeth and stuff like that. So we want to have the cool thing first. We want that to be front of mind.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And the other restriction is don't put anything on fire.
No actual fire.
No actual fire. That's the other restriction. Yep.
Yeah, you have to roll for that.
It's on the 4th table, and all the entries are no fire.
Yeah. I think we're gonna have to really iterate that to the team tonight. That's happening in hour and 45 minutes. It's on the Twitch stream at 10 p.m. Eastern. There will be a design jam happening with some awesome guests, designers, and they got kits as well. They got different kits.
There's one kit. So Jay Treat got the kit. So they may all, Jay Treat's going to have his camera, like he's got a 2-camera setup. They figured it all out. And so he got a kit. He got sent the kit for their team.
So they're one team, and they're going to design a game on camera together, remotely, live on Twitch.
For various definitions of design in game, yes.
Okay, cool. I'm super excited. And I'm scheduled.
But that was the idea, was to, if we can do that like this, you got all weekend, what can't we do?
Yeah. So if you want to watch what will probably be very enlightening and amusing, tune in at 10 p.m. on this Twitch channel to watch the Team Nunpub design a game for the design jam as well. But they only have an hour and a half. 2 hours. I think it's hour and a half.
Just an hour.
Oh, just an hour. Oh, that's even more.
That'll be intense.
Just got an hour.
Nice.
And while you all are working together and trying to produce the best stuff, you can go onto them and trash talk what they're doing, because they can.
We expect nothing less than that in the Twitch chat later tonight.
Yeah. So, I'm excited to see what they do. So excited and terrified. Maybe not terrified. Terrified's strong. Worried?
Anxious.
Anxious. There we go.
It's the big mood.
On the stress scale, I think I'm like yellowish orange for that one.
Appreciate the
if it's not good, hopefully it's at least entertaining.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's definitely gonna be the highlight of my week, I think, watching that. Sorry,
People are asking about some of your games, Dave.
I know. I was trying to avoid talking about my own stuff, but
we got 12 minutes left. That's the
talk about. Have you ever done any? Have you ever done any like pitch tag or game design jam stuff yourself?
I've done a bunch of them. Yeah. So there was the one. Yeah, the first one I did was one of the very first proto spiels, and that was the one with genies, where we did Go Wish. Other conventions have done like Iron GM contests where it's more like, the secret ingredient is trucks or whatever, and it's more focused on one thing, and then there's like a published game designer or a bunch of other teams. Those are always fun. Again, like the more you do these things, like the limited time is both a positive and a negative. So you'll hopefully get the ideas flowing, but also be like, if only I had a little bit more time to do all this stuff. I'd recommend not trying to make the thing look pretty at all. If you're like doing cards, just do it on note cards or whatever. With Sharpies, don't spend a lot of time on Adobe products trying to perfect that kind of thing.
Focus more on the functional than the pretty.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
It's all going to be over webcam anyway, so
Yeah.
not going to be able to tell.
Cabbage King asked, "Could tonight top Donkey Vault?" And nothing can ever top Donkey Vault. Donkey Vault is the most award-winning game from the HABA design contests ever. It won the most awards that have ever been given out at a HABA design contest. So I don't think anything could ever top Donkey Vault. Maybe Donkey Vault 2, The Return of the Donk, but I don't...
I don't recall any donkey pieces being in their kit.
Yeah, I don't think there's any donkeys. Yeah, but if you're not aware of the Donkey Vault situation, we did the Spiel. We did this Spiel Celebrity HABA Game Design Jam, and you can find that on the HABA USA YouTube channel for your viewing amusement. But yeah, and I think it's like a 2-hour thing, so you could watch it. It was really epic. Yeah, you could. It was really good. We had some great designers on there. We had some great celebrity just content creators and stuff, and they did really amazing stuff for having essentially an hour and 15 minutes to design a game with stuff that they had never seen before, and then like while live on the internet, and then pitch it to the head of HABA Games. So they did really well. Yes. The Donkey Vault situation. Yep.
I saw Donkey Vault situation open for OK Go.
That took me like way too long to get, but cool.
Was that at the Verizon Center?
No, much smaller club. You wouldn't have heard of it.
Okay.
Another contest thing that I've been a part of in the past is where, game design groups like wander around like a Michael's hobby store and pick a bunch of different things, and everyone buys the same stuff, and they come back a year later and then show off what they've done, and then the winners then get to pick the stuff for the next year. So if you're bored and locked down and have access to hobby stores that you can wander around in, that's something you can get in on.
That's a fun
Just
one.
send somebody to a Dollar Tree with $10.
Exactly. Here in Maryland, we have the Visionary Art Museum, which is like all outsider art stuff, and the gift shop is full of bizarre stuff. And we just want to do a game jam where you run into the art museum gift shop and grab stuff over the weekend.
T, have you ever been involved in a game jam aside from the celebrity stuff for HABA, like outside of HABA?
I have. I've never been a participant in a game jam. I've always like judged game jams or helped organize game jams. So I think my first one was Proto Spiel in San Jose years ago, and I helped organize it and then do some judging on it. And then I was like hooked. So I don't design games. I just critique them. So yeah, I really like playing weird prototypes and seeing different ideas and seeing how people use the same materials just so differently. That's like one of my favorite things. So I don't even know at this point, probably like 10 or 15 game jams that I've helped organize and or run. And I just really like doing them. So when the HABA design contest, I didn't start it. It was before my time at HABA, but when I joined HABA and I took over the games department, they were like, do you want to still do this? And I was like, yes, we're making it bigger. So yeah, so it was like,
you were just like, no.
Yeah. HABA's like, no, could you not use our amazing stuff?
It's a great program, so.
Yeah. And
I've actually never participated in a game jam, but I do a lot of theory crafting and just dumb ideas. And hey, we've got to come up with this, and some of the stuff that I had helped Jason Tagmeyer Button Shy out with, it was like, we've got 3 extra cards. What do we do with them? Like, I've done a lot of that type of stuff. And then on my Twitter account, which you helped make famous, T, thank you very much for that. Like Unpub 5. But
6 or 5.
They, I just post a daily game design challenge, and it's really just a dumb idea or a dumb restriction that comes with a $5 Wawa gift card. But it's just meant to get conversations going and get people's ideas that might make them think of something in a way they didn't otherwise or didn't before. That's I enjoy that discussion part more than I love the doing it and the designing it and the homework part that Dave is all about.
Yeah. We have some questions going on. So, Cabbage King says, T is always the MC. This is true. Always the MC. Yep. What do you look for as a judge, or what?
Not tomorrow night.
The games are, we're not technically judging them. We're just helping provide feedback. So the feedback can be about anything, and you can even preface before you give the pitch what you are specifically looking for feedback on, be it how you do the pitch, specific elements of the game, how you do a sell sheet, whatever. But that's kind of, we're there to give you feedback to help you grow and like maybe give experiences what it would be like if you pitched the game to a designer. So that's kind of there. What are you looking for or what helps set the game apart? That's so broad. That's such a broad question. Anything can help set the game apart. So
I do think it's always a good idea to have some kind of hook that you personally as the designer are excited about, that you like want to come and like actively tell me about your game because of this thing that is so cool or that I've never seen anywhere, or works in an interesting way.
Yeah. What's the cool thing? I actually was at a playtesting event where somebody asked, "Hey, tell me about your game," and the designer said, "The goal of the game is to win. You win by having the most points. The game is over when it ends." That was basically his pitch for the game. That's not what we're looking for. That's not what I don't think anybody's looking for. You'll get different feedback if that's your hook. So what's the cool thing about your game? We're looking at, function, but like T said, you can preface with what kind of feedback you're looking for on the experience or what you've done.
Yep. Will there be a HABA contest this year? Yes, I am attempting. We intend to do the contest again this year. We had some logistics issues last year because of the quarantine and lockdown, but we managed to do it last year. So we should be able to do it again this year. But we're trying to see if we can figure out a way to make it bigger from like a logistics standpoint and help support more people. So yes, there will be a HABA contest this year. It will be similar, but probably a little different than what we've done in the past. So there's that. Are these panels streamed?
Are you going to roll dice for restrictions?
No. We don't really like to strict because the bits that people get are so different. So if you didn't know, I have like 2 minutes. Yeah. If you didn't know, the HABA bits that we use for these kits, that are these kits here, and also the kits for the summer program that we do, we have what's called a skid box. So this is a cardboard box that is literally the size of a pallet, and it is just full with random wooden HABA bits. And these are excess wooden bits that our manufacturer in Germany didn't need anymore. So either they overproduced them and then they didn't make that number of games or toys or that kind of stuff, or the game was discontinued, so they took the games apart and took the wood parts out and did that. And then they said, hey, do you want these? So sometimes they design games that use those bits, but after a certain part, the pieces age out and they get dumped into a furnace box and then burned in a furnace to power the factory. So they do use fire. But so at one point, HABA USA was like, could you just like send us some of those bits and we'll do this design contest? And they were like, yeah, sure, whatever. So we get enough containers. We get a container every 2 weeks at least from Germany of HABA stuff. So they just put a pallet size box full of random wooden bits on the container and we get it. And then we take a shovel, like a literal shovel, and we mix it up and then we scoop those shovelfuls into things and we mail them to you for the summer jam. So we have like very little control over what's in the kits. So if we tried to do restrictions, it would just be really hard because everybody gets so much different stuff. So yeah. Are these panel streams archived anywhere? So
yes.
The ones that are on Twitch.
Yes, they will be.
Yes. If they're just on Discord, like the feedback sessions, those will not be archived or saved. So, yes.
We got
yes, Cabbage
like
King.
a minute-ish.
There
Do we want to give bona fides and?
Do people know who you are?
I don't. I mean, some people might know who I am, but I don't even know who I am sometimes.
I mean,
the Who ask me all the time.
okay.
How to see you online? I'm at Dave the Game on Twitter.
Yep. I'm the one tar on Twitter. I'm the one tar everywhere, but I'm most active on Twitter. So.
And I'm some fat kid. That's SUM fat kid.
It's true.
On Twitter, and I can be found at Unpub, and all sorts of fun stuff. But looking forward really to this game jam. It's a new thing this year or this time for Nunpub. Hopefully we can keep it rocking and rolling into the future. But thank you, T. Thank you, Dave, for bringing some insight and helping with those die rolls.
Again, roll dice. Yeah, it's my
and thank you to all the participants.
Yeah, and huge thank you to Heather and I'm assuming Chris for making the kits, because what they did was my team at the warehouse in New York shoveled literally into a shipping box a bunch of wooden bits and then mailed it to Heather and Chris, and then they sat and did the task of actually dividing all these random bits that we sent into kits. So it was Heather. Yeah, Heather rocked it, because I think we sent 20 pounds of wood. Just like they put the box on a scale, and I said, just do like 20-ish pounds.
Have you seen 20 pounds of wood yet, Dave, or did you miss them when they were on tour?
Yeah. So Heather, yeah. There's a picture of the table covered in bits. I would love to see that. We should post that someplace. But Heather rocked it because she went through that entire box, that 20-pound box of random HABA stuff, and sorted it, and then made the kits as identical as they could. So, Heather, thank you for doing the hard work. Because if HABA did it, it literally would have just been, we scoop into like a box for every person. My warehouse staff doesn't have the time to make sure everything's identical, sadly. So, yeah. 20 pounds of wood is my 1970s lumberjack band. Awesome. Okay then. Good times. Good times. All right. Is there another stream happening like right now that we're taking into?
No, we put a half an hour break in between most everything for the regular panels.
Yeah. So what's next?
And I'm actually the next panel.
Well, what is your panel?
It's actually the non-pub kickoff panel.
Oh!
Where we're going to play Trust Issues. We're going to talk about some of the changes for this show. We're going to talk about some other stuff, some exciting stuff, some new stuff. We're going to introduce, we've got a live schedule and some other things that, Tam has worked on. Tam is our technomancer. Chris, learn to spell my last name if you're going to put it in the Twitch stream. Just because it's pronounced like the dog doesn't mean it's spelled that way. Still wrong, but I love you anyway. But so we're gonna play Trust Issues. Tam is the technomancer for Unpub. He's done a lot of the background stuff for. He's done a lot of the background stuff in the Discord and setting up some other stuff for success for the future, based on some growing pains in the first show. And some of that stuff has come together in the last week. It's just amazing. So we're going to talk about some of that on the panel and just kind of let everybody know what's going on. And then that follows. There is no break between that and the next panel where they're doing the Design Jam.
Cool.
Yep.
Sweet. And I will be in the chat for the Design Jam, but I will not be on camera for the Design Jam, correct? This is what's happening?
Yes, you are not on camera.
Yes.
It is just that team on camera for the Design Jam. So you heckle like your job depends on it.
My job does not depend on it, but I will pretend that it does.
I know.
I'm just excited because then I can
and I
continue
appreciate
my
you for that.
tradition of watching Twitch streams all day while doing email. So that's like what my 2020 has become.
Yeah, at the last non-pub, I spent most of the time watching Twitch streams looking for snippets to tweet out. That felt like that's what I did for 3 straight days.
Well, I got good news. This non-pub's 4 days. 3.5. So now you can add an extra day.
I know.
There you go. Awesome. Well, shall we wrap it?
Yeah.
Sweet. All right, everybody on the Design Jam, if you're participating in the Design Jam, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, etc., the Design Jam chat is your playground for that this NunPub. Feel free to chat there. You also, again, reminder, you have your own private little Discord room. If you want to do playtest sessions with people, you can invite them to your room, etc. So yeah, and again, the teams are not silos. You are welcome to work with the other teams if you like. And yeah, keep it about theme about food. You cannot roll the dice, and you must use something that you hide. Oh, and 7 bits from the kit. So there
And no
you
fire.
go. There you go. Oh, also Heather reminded me we are doing a mingler. So if you want to mingle with the other teams as well as us, you can go to HABA One Voice now. We're doing an after kickoff mingler. I'm gonna go change this coffee into another type of beverage, and then I will be in the mingler as well, hanging out. It's voice only. You do not need to worry about video, etc. So yeah, you can talk about ideas, kits, whatever you want. Just hang out Thursday night, whatever. Kill time before the next panel. So yeah, awesome.
Awesome. Everybody be safe.
Yep, be safe.